everyone, so today I am really excited about this video because I'm going to be showing you my foundation routine or my base routine, so basically everything but the eyes and the lips. I don't claim to be a makeup artist or anything like that, and maybe I'm not going to be showing you anything groundbreaking, but I just really wanted to show you guys how I get my foundation look and the finish that I like and the finish that I go for. So I really hope you do enjoy watching this video. Also, shout out to my girls who couldn't be bothered to do their hair today. You're my soul sisters. Also, just a heads up, before I have put my foundation on, I have a very bright red nose because yesterday I met one of my dear old friends for lunch and I got very sunburnt. I am very fair and the sun is not my friend. So I do have a bit of an awkward sunglasses tan. Just wanted to warn you that that is going to be there before I put my makeup on. Also, I apologize if anyone gets annoyed by little hair frizzies because they are in full force today. They are breaking the rules of hairspray and they just don't want to go down. So if that annoys you, maybe watch a different video or maybe don't watch my videos because if I am here, there will be frizzies. Hope you enjoy watching, and if you want to see how I got the foundation and the base to my makeup today, then just keep watching and I will show you. Hands up if you're excited for today's video. Grizzly, you're excited too, I can tell. I'm starting with a clean face. I have cleansed my skin and moisturized with Clinique's Dramatically Different Moisturizer and just a Clinique eye cream as well. So that's all I've got on my face. The first thing I'll be doing is priming, and my favorite primer is the Napoleon Purtis Autopilot Pre-Foundation Primer. The reason I like this one is because my skin is on the dry side, sort of dry to normal skin, and this just really hydrates my skin and just gives a really good base for all of my foundation. I don't know how this primer would work on someone with oily skin, but maybe towards more of like a winter primer if you get dry in the winter, or for me, I'm sort of dry all year round, so it really suits my skin tone, my skin type at all times. Also, don't mind my awkward red V. I am suffering from a case of the sun exposures. I am primed and ready to go. So my favorite foundation at the moment, actually my favorite foundation for a long time, has been the L'Oreal True Match. I'm currently in W3. The reason that I like this one is because you really can get different looks out of it. So I can sort of get my day-to-day look, which is what I'll be showing you today, but I can also build up the coverage if I really want a dressier look and sort of a more formal look. So I'll just dot that around my face and give him a good blend. Now obviously this foundation is a lot darker than the skin on my face, but for the most part, I try to protect the skin on my face and I don't like to get it out in the sun too much. So it is always lighter than the rest of my body. I promise that this foundation does match my chest and my body very well. Well, when my chest isn't bright red. My favorite brush to apply this with as well is the MAC 187. The reason I like this brush is because it covers a big area in a small amount of times. It also gives me more of a sheer finish, so just for day-to-day stuff this brush is perfect for me. If I want a more full coverage for a more formal occasion, or if I'm just feeling fancy that day, then I will use my Real Technique sponge, which I will use for my concealer, but that's sort of how I get the different finishes out of the same foundation, is by changing what brush or applicator I use. So now that that's all on, I'm going to be moving on to concealer, which is my favorite part because it hides when I don't get enough sleep, which isn't very often. I probably sleep too much, if anything. Hashtag Gen Y life. So I'll just apply that to the back of my hand, and I'm using the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. I really like this concealer, but it does have a thick consistency. So I like to apply it to the back of my hand just to help it warm up a little bit. And I'll just apply that to my under eye area in, you know, a general triangular shape. And then I'll apply it down the center of my nose. A, to highlight, and B, because I have just a dense patch of freckles there and I like to cover it up. So a little bit on the chin as well. And if I've got anything left on my hand, I'll just sort of apply it around the nose because I do get a little bit of redness in there. I will just take my damp Real Technique sponge. I'm just going to spray it with a bit of Fix Plus. Again, I just find that using the damp sponge with this thicker consistency concealer just really pushes it into the skin and just gives me a much nicer finish. It doesn't look too cakey and it doesn't look, it still looks like skin, you know. Just gently patting that into my skin. Now a lot of you might find that this is a lot of makeup for a day-to-day basis, but just with my job, I do have to be a little bit more dressed up. So now that I've got all my creams on, I will be setting those, starting with my concealer. I am someone that does crease under my eyes, so I have to get some powder on there too sweet. I will be taking the Australis AC on Tour palette. I only got it recently because I really wanted a banana shade to set under my eyes. The highlight colors, love. Contour colors, I'm undecided on. And I'll just be taking this on a Chi-Chi, or I've always said Chi-Chi my whole life, and then on their Instagram they're like, it's Chi-Chi girls. So this is just a double-ended brush, and I really like this end to fit into my under eye area. This just covers a big area in a short time, really packs on the powder and sets the area. After I've set my concealer, I will set my foundation. Even though I don't have oily skin, I like to really set my face down. I like a matte finish, I like it to stay put, and I don't want to have to touch up during the day, so that is why I do set with a couple of powders. So the plastic fell out, but I'm just taking my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in medium, just the natural kind. I'm just taking that on a Lancome brush. It just says #1, but it came in a gift set, so I don't know if that means it has a different number, but it's just a really big, soft, fluffy brush. And it just really evenly disperses the powder over my face. And it just gives a really nice matte finish. And even though I am applying a fair bit of powder, it doesn't look too harsh, I think, with this brush, which is nice. Alrighty, so now I'm going to fix my brows because they're just, you know when you look at your brows and you're just like, my face doesn't look right. So let's get some brows on. All I use is, I apologise for how dirty it is, the NYX Eyebrow Cake Powder. For any Australian people, you can just get that in Target. They do stock NYX now. And I'm just using the colour Blonde. And then I'm using the brow brush from Real Techniques. And this is just a really nice, decent sized brush because I obviously have quite thick brows naturally. So I get a more natural look out of a bigger brush. So I'll just brush through them to begin with. Get them all cooperating and heading in the same direction. I'll start off using the lighter powder in the duo, and I'll start at the tail, just give that some definition. Because I do have, you know, quite full brows to begin with, I'm not looking at filling in too many sparse areas, but I just like to darken them up a little bit, mainly because I'm a natural blonde and I do dye my hair darker, so I like to just colour match the eyebrows and just, you know, just give them that little bit of definition to help frame the face. So I'll always focus the powder on the outer tail of my eyebrow and then just slowly drag it in, just really short, quick strokes. And then when I haven't got much powder left, that's when I'll start defining and just pushing up through the front part of my brow. I like my eyebrows to still look like eyebrows. I like to be able to see the hairs, and I like them to still look quite full and not too defined, just because that's my personal preference. But girl, if you want to like carve out your eyebrows like nobody's business, do that. Eyebrows are such a personal thing. Who am I to tell you how to do them? And then I'm just going to take this little spoolie again. This just comes in the kit. I like to always brush my brows upwards, mainly because it helps define the hair, so you can still see the hairs through the brow, but it also means that it blends out any harsh lines in the eyebrow. So after I've brushed through, I'll just run my brush along the top and down the tail. That just gives me a really nice defined line on top, but it still gives me that really nice, slightly more natural look, which is what I prefer through my brows. Yes, girl. I love the way that when you've done your brows, it really just sort of changes the definition in your face, and I think it looks really good. Alright, so now we will go on to contour and blush. That's really all I've got left. I was lucky enough to pick up the NARS Virtual Domination palette, so I have my bronzer and my day-to-day blushes in here because it comes with the Laguna bronzer and a couple of other blushes. One of them is Deep Throat, which I tend to use most often. My favourite bronzer is Laguna. I'm usually quite fair, and I find that even when I'm sort of at my fairest skin tone, usually I'm the W1 in the True Match. I find that even when I'm that light, I can still get a really nice shadow out of this bronzer. It's not too orange, it's not too cool tone. It's just a really nice neutral bronzer that brings a bit of warmth and definition, but doesn't overwhelm fairer skin tones. So I would really recommend that. So I'm just applying this with the powder slash blush brush from Napoleon Purtis. And because it's not a particularly defined brush, so it just gives a really nice soft contour for every day if you don't want anything too intense. So I'll just apply that under the cheekbones where I naturally sort of cast a shadow. And after I've done the cheeks, I'll hit the temples. And obviously I'm pushing that up into my hairline as well. Oh, my brows. Now all we have left is blush, and I'm going to be I will use Deep Throat just because it's the blush that I use most often. I'm just taking that on a MAC 129 brush. I'm just taking a little bit on the brush, tapping off the excess and applying that just above that contour. I do like to focus the colour more on the apples of my cheeks and just blend it back. And I do really like that Deep Throat just because it is one of those really nice coral colours, and it's got a little bit of shimmer but not too obvious, and it just gives that really nice sort of day-to-day glow. Alrighty, so we're almost there now, so I'm just going to take my contour palette again from Australis, and this is when I am going to use this setting brush, and I'm just going to take this top shade on the right. I'll take this top shade on the right, and it just has a really nice sort of shimmery finish to it. It is only sort of a skin color. I don't always do a highlighter, but if I were to use a highlighter just for work or just for day-to-day stuff, then this is the one I would use. So I'll just take a little bit on that little bitty brush and just apply it where you'd normally think to apply a highlighter, just on the top of the cheekbones and just a little bit above the brow bone. And I will just hit the top of my lip, the top of my cupid's bow, just give a little bit of definition there, and the end of my nose. My nose is not particularly straight, so a little bit of highlight doesn't hurt him. That's everything applied now. The only other step that I will do to finish off my face is I'll either take Fix Plus and just give myself a spritz and then do the YouTube wave, and this has actually been my favorite way to finish off my makeup lately, is to just take my sponge, which is still damp, and I'm using the side that didn't have concealer, but just gently press onto the skin. Now it isn't very damp anymore, it's only just got that little bit of moisture left, but I'm just gently pressing my base into my skin, and it just gives a really natural finish. Well, I mean, not natural because I obviously haven't gone for a particularly natural look, but it just really helps push the product into the skin and just give more of a skin-like finish. And just a little bit down the jawline as well. And this also helps if you have over-powdered or if you're just like me, you just like to really set your makeup, it just helps with that finish. Hey, so I've just chucked a quick eye and sorry, there's going to be a dog in the background now. So I've just chucked a quick eye and lip on to finish off the look. Like I said, I don't claim to be a makeup artist or anything like that. I just wanted to show you guys how I got this look and the kind of foundation look that I like to go for. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up, or you could subscribe and make me the happiest girl in the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you very soon with my next video. Bye! But Rudolph is my favourite reindeer anyway, so I feel like it's okay. Something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. The reason I have a totally bare face today is because I'm going to show you my foundation ream. Foundation ream? If I saw a cute boy or something. You want to go outside, don't you? Give me one sec. Okay, I won't. Give me one sec. Spritz on the yellow. So just get that on there. Excuse me while I just pull this hair off my face. I like to still look a little bit human, but just, you know, a better human. Evening out my tickles. So after I've set my concealer, honestly, Ashley, get your act together. I find that this is just, oh no. So I'm just applying this, I need to learn to control myself more.